upon yourself the responsibilities of Jewish life. This talit is your robe of responsibility.
It is a reminder of your obligations as a Jew, learning, good deeds, and a life of holiness.
May you wear this talit with pride, just as you live your life as a Jew with pride.
Geffen, there's your blessing. You open up the talit so we can see so that you can see the Hatorah. Very nice. Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'hitatef batzitzit.
If you would straighten it out so he looks good, and
You
you're
good?
going to
Comfortable?
start
Yeah.
just in a few minutes.
All
We've
right,
got a
buddy.
few minutes to go, so take your time. Good morning, everybody. Shabbat shalom. We'll be starting in just about 3 minutes, and I hope everybody's got a prayer book and a copy of the parashah, the Torah
Mom.
portion, which is up on the table
We're
there.
muted.
A couple of things. First of all, it's a beautiful place, isn't it? We're really fortunate to have sanctuary outdoors. It feels sacred, and we're indebted to the people who put a lot of work into making it look nice for us. It is a holy place. This moment we've transformed into holy space. So I'm going to ask you to understand it as a sanctuary. Don't take pictures during the service. Don't take photographs. I want you present, fully present in the moment. You're not observers. You're not spectators. You're fellow travelers through worship with Geffen as our guide. So to get on board and to make that spiritual journey with him, we have to be completely, all of our hearts present in this moment. It's a little tricky handling all the things with no place to put them. If you need another chair to put your prayer book down, you're welcome to grab another chair so you can put the prayer book or something. I just don't want them and the poor horses go on the ground because that wouldn't be respectful. Okay, we'll begin 2 minutes. All right, on stage. Whoa. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom, people who are here at Congregation Beth Emek on our courtyard. And also Shabbat Shalom to people who are watching the service live in Zoom or on our live stream. Bruchim habaim l'chulchem be'eretz Yisrael. We're very happy that you are joining us for this sacred occasion as Geffen becomes a bar mitzvah. We're really an intercontinental service here. Thanks for being with us, and we wish you all shalom. We're going to begin with a song from the Psalms, Shir Chadash. You can find it in the prayer book on page 344. Those of you who are watching online, if you go to our website, you'll find a copy of our prayer book under Virtual Resources. In Virtual Resources, you will see Mishkan Tefillah for Shabbat. Just open up that flip book and you can follow along with all of our prayers and all of our songs. Page 344.
Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song. Shabbat Shalom. I'm saying a welcome to everybody who has just joined us online. Welcome to Congregation Beth Emek and to our Shabbat morning services, which will be led primarily by Geffen Kama, who is celebrating his status as a bar mitzvah this morning. Geffen is going to lead us in all of our prayers, all of our worship, and he's going to read to us from the Torah and the Haftarah this morning and teach us about this morning's Torah portion. I invite you to join in all of our prayers and in all of our songs. Sing along with us. And we are going to begin by welcoming one another into this sanctuary, this kind of multi-dimensional sanctuary we've got. Here we are outdoors in the beautiful courtyard of Congregation Beth Emek, the beautiful pomegranate trees behind us in full bloom. And those of you online, you're part of our sanctuary too. You're also in this holy space. We are going to welcome one another into holy space with traditional words of greeting for entering the sanctuary. Ma tovu ohalecha, how good are your tents? You could find the words on page 74 of the prayer book. Again, if you've just joined us, you could find the prayer book on our website, bethemek.org. Under virtual resources, you'll see Mishkan Tefillah for Shabbat. Page 74. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Please
please turn to page 77. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are aware, we would lack the strength to stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. Baruch atah Adonai, rofeh chol basar umafli la'asot. We continue on page 78.
Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi, tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi. The soul is pure, God has given me. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi, tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi. The soul is pure, God has given me. Ata virata, ata yitzarta, ata nefachavi, ve'ata mishamra b'kirbi. Whoa, Elohai neshama shenatata bi. Tehorahi, tehorahi, Elohai neshama shenatata bi. The soul is pure, God has given me. The soul is pure, God has given me. The soul is pure, God has given me.
We continue on page 80. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lasech vivina, lehavchin ben yom uvein laila.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach izrim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, rokaha aretz al hamayim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten laya'ef koach.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir sheinai me'enai, utnuma me'afa pai.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzelem Elohim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben chorin.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael bigvura.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael betifara.
Amen.
We continue on page 86. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. O Adonai, our God, let the words of Torah be sweet in our mouths, and the mouths of your people Israel, so that we, our descendants, and the descendants of all your people Israel, may know you, by studying your Torah for its own sake. Blessed are you, Adonai, who teaches Torah to your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, hamlamed Torah le'amo Yisrael. We read together on page 88. These are the things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. Please turn to page 96. A psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night with a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, O God, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. The righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive in a cedar like Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in the courts of our God. In old age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock, in whom there is no wrong. We continue on page 100. Show, Hallelujah, Birkia Uso, Hallelujah, Big Vurotav, Hallelujah, Kerov, good Lord. Shofar, Hallelujah, Benevel Bechinor, Hallelujah, Betofu Machol, Hallelujah, Beminim Ve'uga. Tziltzalei Shama, Hallelujah, Tziltzalei Trua, Kol Hanshama, Tehalel Ya, Kol Hanshama, Tehalel Ya. We continue on page 102. Please read responsively. Even if our mouths were full of song as the sea, and our tongues full of joy in countless waves, and our lips full of praise as wide as the sky's expanse, and were our eyes to shine like sun and moon, if our hands were spread out like heaven's eagles, and our feet swift like young deer, we could never thank you adequately, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, to bless your name for a 10,000th of the myriads of times you granted favors to our ancestors and to us. Please turn to page 106. Yikadal ve'yikada shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divira chirute v'amlich malchute בחייכון וביומכון ובחייך בישראל בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ועמל מיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה לעילם מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירם בעלמא ואמרו
Amen.
Please turn to page 108 and rise for the Baruch Hu.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed.
Please be seated. We continue on page 110. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorei choshech oseh shalom uvorei et hakol hameir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha berachamim uvtuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh vreshit Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam bechokma asita. Mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha, titbarach Adonai Eloheinu. Al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or she'asita. Yifa'arucha sela. Or chadash al tzion ta'ir, v'nizkeh chulanu mehera le'oro. Baruch atah Adonai, yotzer habe'orot. We continue on page 112. How deeply you have loved us, Adonai, our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion. On account of our forebears, whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life, be gracious to us, teaching us as well. O merciful one, have mercy on us by making us able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah. Enlighten our eyes with your Torah. Focus our minds on your mitzvot. Unite our hearts in love and reverence for your name. Then we will never feel shame, never deserve rebuke, and never stumble. Having trusted in your great and awesome holiness, we shall celebrate your salvation with joy. Gather us in peace from the four corners of the earth and lead us upright to our land. For you, O God, work wonders. You chose us. Truly, you drew us near to your great name, that we might acknowledge you, declaring you one in love. Praise be you, Adonai, who chooses your people Israel in love. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'almo Yisrael be'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Be'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha behayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha beshinantam levanecha bedibarta ba'am Beshivtecha beveitecha uvlechtecha vaderech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam neot al yadecha vehayu letotafot beineinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskeru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai vehitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem. We continue on page 121. Please read responsively. The eternal truth is that you alone are God, and there is none else. May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Let nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war any more. You shall not hate your brother or sister in your heart. The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Israel. Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asks God. We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy. Praise to God Most High. Blessed is God and deserving of blessing.
Page 122. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai. Micha mocha ne'etar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef eleh. Nora tehilot osef eleh. Shira hadashah shivchu geulim. Leshimcha osahayam. Yachad kulam chodu. Vehimlichu ve'ameru. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Tzur Yisrael, kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, uvtechnu mecha Yehuda ve'Yisrael. Go aleinu, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka,
Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Behanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Bekonei Hakol, Bezocher Chastei Avot Be'imahot, Umedi Geula Livnei Bneihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umashiach Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabbi, Somech Noflim Verofech Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishene Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'emana Talu HaChayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol.
Page 130.
Nikadesh et Shimcha Ba'olam, Keshem Shemakdishim Oto B'Shmei Marom, Kakatuv Al Yad Neviecha, V'kara Ze El Ze Ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tziva'ot, Melech Kol Haaretz, Kevodo. Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Ma'adir Shimcha B'chol Haaretz, Baruch Kevod Adonai, Bimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu v'hu Yashmienu, v'rachamam le'enei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohayich Tzion, Ledor Vador, Hallelujah. Ledor Vador Nagid Golecha, Ulenetzach Netzachim Kedushatcha Nakdish, V'shivchacha Eloheinu Mipinu Lo Yamush Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. We continue on page 132. Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei Onei Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei Onei Shabbat. Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei Shevi Shabbat. Kula Yisrael, v'yisagdu mituvechai Shabbat. Yismechu v'lalechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei Onei Shabbat. Yismechu v'lalechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei Onei Shabbat. Hashvi Ratzita bo v'kidashta Shabbat, Chemdat Yamim Oto Karata, Zecher Lema'aseh Bereshit. Yismechu ומלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת, ישמחו ומלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. Please turn to page 135. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories, glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue on page 137. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds in our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve and reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadecha beyirah na'avod. Please turn to page 138. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one, whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be praised, forever be praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulcha na'el lehodot.
Page 140.
Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, barkeinu yoteinu kulam yechad, ve'or panecha, ve'or panecha natan lanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, Torah chayim v'yahavat chesed, v'yahavat chesed, u'tzedaka uvracha v'rachamim v'chayim Shalom, sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, v'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael, b'chol עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים ורחמים עלינו, ועל כל ישראל עמך. We continue with silent prayer on pages 142 and 143. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן, עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
We continue now with the service for the reading of the Torah. And in a moment, pardon me, I'm going to invite Geffen's parents and grandparents and great-grandmother to come forward to pass the Torah to him. We are going to turn in the prayer book to page 244, and I invite you to please rise. Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai,
ואין כמעשיך,
מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. Av harachamim, heitiv avirtzoncha et Zion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim. Ki levad vatachnu, Melech Elam v'nisa Adon Olamim. Moshe kibel Torah miSinai, umsorah leHoshua, v'Hoshua lazkenim, u'zkenim laneviim. Moses received the Torah on Mount Sinai. He passed it to Joshua, Joshua to the elders to the prophets. So has the Torah been passed from one generation of our people to the next. Each generation teaching the next to love and cherish the teachings contained within this scroll. This morning, Geffen stands in that chain of tradition as he receives the Torah through the generations of his family. And in passing the Torah to him, his parents, his grandparents, his great-grandmother in turn, demonstrate one of the mitzvot contained within this scroll. Vishinantam livanecha, you shall teach it faithfully to your children. Havu godel Eloheinu, utenu chavod la Torah, let us declare the greatness of our God and give honor to the Torah. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, udevar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. It's page 248.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh Shemo.
Turn around, face the ark, please.
Gadlu l'Adonai iti, uneromem Hashemo yachdav, lecha Adonai hagevura, v'hagevura, v'tiferet, v'hanetzach v'ha'od, ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz, lecha Adonai hamamlacha, ve'amid na'aseh lechol erosh. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol hanshama tehalel Yah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hanshama tehalel Yah, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol hanshama tehalel Yah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hanshama tehalel Yah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You may be seated. Yeah.
Okay. Devar Torah next. Okay.
In this week's Torah portion, we read about two subjects. First, we read about a Nazirite ceremony at the end of their term. A Nazirite was a person who swore a vow of obligation to God. In this vow, a Nazirite promised that he would do three things. First, he would not drink alcohol. This included not eating any grapes or drinking wine. Second, a Nazirite would not cut his hair. And third, a Nazirite would not come into contact with a dead body. A Nazirite swore to God that for an amount of time,
What can you do, you know? We'll let the plane go over. It's either that or the geese, you know. Okay, back to the Nazarites. Yeah.
okay, a Nazirite swore to God that for an amount of time that the person got to choose, he would follow these three rules. My Torah portion talks about the end of a Nazirite's term. At the end of the Nazirite's term, there would be a ceremony at the temple. A Nazirite completed his vow with a series of sacrifices. After the ritual of sacrifices was complete, the person was no longer a Nazirite and could drink wine. The second part of my Torah portion is known as the priestly benediction. God told Moses to instruct Aaron to bless the Israelites with these words. The priestly benediction is likely our oldest known prayer. It dates back to the time of the temples in Jerusalem, where the priests would bless the people. There are other parts in the Torah, like the Shema and Micha Mocha, that we still say today, but those were not prayers back in the time of the temple in Jerusalem. You have probably heard the priestly benediction chanted multiple times, though probably not with Torah trope. The priestly benediction consists of 3 lines. The first line asks God to protect you and bless you. The second line asks God to be kind and gracious to you. And the final line asks God to be good to you and to grant you peace. You will notice that this prayer is meant to be personal. Each of the 3 lines are directed at a person, not the whole world. You are strengthening your relationship with God when someone says this prayer to you. When trying to understand this prayer, I find that looking at the line immediately after the priestly benediction in the Torah is helpful. It reads, "Thus they shall link my name with the people of Israel, and I will bless them." By praising God, and by God blessing us, God is getting God's name linked with the Jewish people. I perceive the words of the priestly benediction as a personal prayer, but the line after the priestly benediction in the Torah tells us that when we say this prayer, we are linking God's name with all the Jewish people, which is a benefit for the community. As I become a bar mitzvah, I learned the importance of honoring and remembering the past. Judaism focuses a lot on honoring the past. We praise God for events that happened in biblical times. When we sit Shiva or recite Kaddish, we are remembering the past. My connection between remembering the past and the priestly benediction is that we made a pact with God long ago. We praise God and in exchange, God gets God's name linked with the Jewish people. This is an ongoing pact, and whenever we say the priestly benediction, we are remembering and renewing the pact. There are 2 main times when we say the priestly benediction. One time is on Friday nights, when some parents choose to bless their children with these words. The other common times that we say the priestly benediction are on the 3 festivals, Sukkot, Passover, and Shavuot. I think that from parents blessing their children, who will one day bless their children, we are shown how this prayer has been passed down in generations. Every time this prayer is passed down in a generation, it is like we are renewing our faith in God.
I want to invite you to follow along with the Torah reading. Those of you who are here with us on the courtyard, you have inside your service pamphlet a copy of the text in Hebrew and English. And those of you watching online, we've posted in the chat the link to where you could follow the Torah reading. You could also find it on our website under virtual resources. And I encourage you to follow along as Geffen chants to us. Our first aliyah this morning, you know what, I want to do a little introduction here. There's somebody off off camera you might not see. There she is, she's waving to us. Sharon Cohen is the gabbai this morning. There's always a gabbai, the support person for the Torah reader. Sharon was also Geffen's bar mitzvah tutor. Our first aliyah this morning will be recited by Geffen's grandparents, Manny and Karen Berman, and the first translation will be read by Geffen's aunt, Becky Berman. Yamdu, Menachem ben Shmuel ve'Esther, v'Chaya Bela bat Tevya v'Sara Leah.
Show them the reading. There you go.
Touch with your talit on.
Where's the blessing? You got it? Okay.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamanim. Natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vezot Torat Hanazir Beyom Melot Yemei Nizro Yavi Oto El Petach Ohel Moed Vehikriv Et Korbano LaAdonai Keves Ben Shenato Tamim Echad Leolah V'Chavsa Achat Bat Shenata Temima lechatat ve'ayil echad tamim lishlamim v'sal matzot so lechalot belulo bashemen urkike matzot meshuchim bashemen uminchatam v'nizkehem.
Baruch Hu Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet. V'chaye olanu mitan v'feinu. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
Okay. You could come. And Becky.
This is the ritual for the Nazarite. On the day that the term as Nazarite is completed, the person shall be brought to the entrance of the tent of meeting. As an offering to the Eternal, that person shall present one male lamb in its first year without blemish for a burnt offering, one ewe lamb in its first year without blemish for a purgation offering, one ram without blemish for an offering of well-being, a basket of unleavened cakes of choice flour with oil mixed in, and unleavened wafers spread with oil, and the proper meal offerings and libations.
All of which will be served at the luncheon following the service. The second Aliyah will be recited by Geffen's grandparents Rachel and Moti Kama, and the translation will be read by Geffen's aunt Tammy Odko. Odko? Did I say? Okay. Yamdu Mordechai ben Shimon ve'Esther ve'Rachel bat Shlomo ve'Malka.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
אמן. והקריב הכהן לפני אדוני, ועשה את חטאתו ואת עולתו, ואת העיל יעשה זבח שלמים לאדוני על סל המצות, ועשה הכהן את מנחתו ואת נזקו, וגילח הנזיר פתח אוהל מועד את ראש נזרו, ולקח את שיער ראש נזרו, ונתן על האש אשר תחת זבח השלמים.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. יישר כוחך.
The priest shall present them before the Eternal and offer the purgation offering and the burnt offering. He shall offer the ram as a sacrifice of well-being to the Eternal, together with the basket of unleavened cakes. The priest shall also offer the meal offerings and the libations. The Nazarite shall then shave the consecrated hair at the entrance of the tent of meeting, and take those locks of consecrated hair and put them on the fire that is under the sacrifice of well-being.
Our third Aliyah will be recited by Geffen's parents, Lisa and Alon, and the translation read by Geffen's great aunt, Sandy Berman. Yamdu Yehudit Rachel bat Menachem v'Chaya Bela v'Alon ben Mordechai v'Rachel.
Baruchu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. ולקח הכהן את הזרועה בשלה מן העיל, וחלת מצה אחת מן הסל, ורקיק מצה אחד, ונתן על כפי הנזיר אחר יגלחו את נזרו, והניף אותם הכהן תנופה לפני אדוני, קודש הוא לכהן על חזה התנופה ועל שוקת תרומה, ואחר Ishtei hanazir yain. Zo Torah hanazir asher yidor korbano ladonai al nizro yovad asher tasig yado kefi nidro asher yidor ken yaaseh al Torah nizro.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Sorry. The priest shall take the shoulder of the ram when it has been boiled, 1 unleavened cake from the basket, and 1 unleavened wafer, and place them on the hands of the Nazarite after the concealed. Oy. That's why, because I have on the wrong glasses. Sorry. After the consecrated hair has been shaved, the priest shall elevate them as an elevation offering before the Eternal, and this shall be a sacred donation for the priest, in addition to the breast of the elevation offering and the thigh of gift offering. After that, the Nazarite may drink wine. Such is the obligation of a Nazarite, except that those who vow an offering to the Eternal of what they can afford, beyond their Nazarite requirements, must do exactly according to the vows that have been made before their obligation as Nazarites.
Thank you. And our final aliyah this morning will be recited by our bar mitzvah Geffen, and the translation will be recited by his great aunt and great uncle Judy Jacks Berman and Steve Berman. Ya'amod Geffen ben Alon v'Yehudit Rachel abachor bar mitzvah chazak chazak v'nichazek.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
V'daber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el Aharon ve'el banav lemor. Kotevarchu et bnei Yisrael. Amor lahem. Yiverechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. V'samu et shemi al bnei Yisrael ve'ani avarchem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
The Eternal One spoke to Moses, "Speak to Aaron and his sons, thus shall you bless the people of Israel. Say to them, the Eternal bless you and protect you.
The Eternal deal kindly and graciously with you. The Eternal bestow favor upon you and grant you peace. Thus they link my name with the people of Israel, and I will bless you."
Thank you. And now I'm going to call up the very patient Matan. Come join his family up here. Let's close the Torah first, okay? Just roll that up. Yeah, we're not lifting it yet. We're just going to roll it up. And Matan and Geffen, if you would stand and face me, and Lisa and Lord behind them. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'Imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yivarech et Mishpachat Kama. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless the Kama family. May you, Geffen and Matan, always know the love and support of your parents. And may you, Alon and Lisa, always have in return the love and respect of your children. May your entire family, wherever you are, be blessed with health and long life. May the joy of this day's service long echo in your memory. May it inspire you to walk hand in hand in the ways of kindness and truth. And let us all say, Amen.
Amen.
Now, as we lift up the Torah to see the portion that we heard Geffen read to us, I invite you to rise. V'zot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Eitz Chaim hi la'machazikim ba v'tomchecha Shar Deracheha Darchei Noam V'chol Netivoteha Shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha V'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. You may be seated. We continue now with Haftarah. Geffen's going to give us a brief introduction to the Haftarah reading. You can find the Haftarah reading also in the service pamphlet as well as online on virtual resources again.
This week's Haftarah is from the book of Judges. It tells the story of the birth of Samson. This story repeats the theme of the Torah reading, which deals with the Nazirite vow. Samson, we are told, will be a Nazirite even before he is born, as his mother is instructed not to drink wine. The end of the story features the miraculous ascent of an angel who came to Samson's parents to promise them a child. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo Uv-Yisrael amo, uv-Nvi'eh ha'emet, v'tzedek. Vayomer Manoach el Malach Adonai, Natzirana otach, v'na'aseh lefanecha, gedi'izim. Vayomer Malach Adonai El Manoach Im tatzreini lo chal belachmecha Ve'im ta'aseh olah la'Adonai ta'alena Ki lo yada Manoach Ki Malach Adonai hu. Vayomer Manoach El Malach Adonai mi shemecha ki avod devarcha v'chibanucha Vayomer lo malach Adonai lama zeh tish'al lishmi vehufeli vayikach Manoach et gedi ha'izim ve'et hamincha vaya'al hatzur Adonai umafli la'asot umanoach ve'ishto ro'im vayehi va'alot halav me'al hamizbeach hashamayma vaya'al malach Adonai v'lahav hamizbeach umanoach ve'ishto ro'im vayiplu al panehem arza velo yasaf od malach Adonai lehera'o el manoach ve'el ishto az yada manoach ki malach Adonai hu vayomer manoach el ishto mot namu ki Elohim ra'inu vatomer lo ishto lu chafetz Adonai lahamitenu lo lakach miadenu ola umincha velo heranu et kol ele v'cha'ei lo hishmianu kazot vateled ha'isha ben vatikra et shemo Shimshon vayigdal hana'ar vayverechehu Adonai vatachel ruach Adonai lefa'amo b'machane Dan ben Zorah uvein ishta'ol Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam Tzur kol ha'olamim tzadik b'chol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'oseh ha'medaber kayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha lechavod u'letifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umevarchim otach yiparach shimcha befi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat
Amen. Yishar kochacha. I want to invite up Geffen's parents, Lisa and Alone. It's our congregation's custom for parents to give a blessing to their child on the occasion of his bar mitzvah. Step a little closer to the two, okay? Yeah.
Geffen. Today we celebrate you becoming a bar mitzvah, which signifies you taking your place as an adult in the Jewish community. This isn't a huge transition for you, as you naturally gravitate towards adults. When you were a preschooler and we'd go to birthday parties for your friends, I would regularly find you schmoozing with the birthday child's grandparents instead of playing with the other kids. These days, the people you spend the most time with are your racquetball and pickleball crew, who are mostly older than your dad and me. You've always had a bit of an old soul, so it feels completely right to me that we are here today to celebrate you officially becoming an adult in our community. These past 14 months have been like nothing any of us have ever experienced or could have imagined, but you have handled this strange time with good humor, maturity, and your usual nonchalance. Early on in the pandemic, when we began talking about whether we should keep your bar mitzvah date or postpone, you told me that the most important thing to you was that your family would be able to travel to be here with you. And so many of them are here with us today, for which we are all grateful. You spoke in your Devar Torah about honoring our past and passing it down from generation to generation. Your desire for your extended family to be here with you today exemplifies that value, and I love that you hold this value close to your heart. I hope that you are proud of yourself today, and I also hope that today leaves you with a feeling of wanting more. More knowledge, more meaning,
more ways to use Jewish values to shape your decisions and goals going forward. You are a smart kid, and you question everything. That works in Judaism. Judaism is a religion of questions, and I hope you'll continue to ask difficult questions and pursue answers as you grow into the person you will be. I also hope the questions you ask and the answers you find will spur you to action. You like to announce several times a day that the world's a mess. I hope that you will choose to take action and be part of the solution, so that the world you leave to the next generation will be less of a mess than the world you are inheriting from us. I have so thoroughly enjoyed helping you prepare for your bar mitzvah over the past several months. I'm proud of you, and I can't wait to see what you accomplish next. I love you.
Dear Geffen, you've had a unique 13th year, to say the least. A year of canceled plans and scary situations. A year where you were excited about entering the world of adults, but at the same time a year where your eyes were open to the shortcomings of adult society. When you were young, I made big plans for the 13th year. I had a list of concepts and values that I wanted to impart to you, and I thought of activities and experiences that we would do together. Needless to say, those plans did not materialize. But ironically, this unique year gave you so many life lessons. It allowed you to observe all that's happening in the world and compare it to your emerging values. It gave us plenty of time together to discuss and debate big ideas such as truth, compassion, power, and commerce. We talked about personal and social responsibility, about needing to take care of our bodies, and about the importance of challenging yourself and not settling. Even in your approach to the bar mitzvah, I was happy to see your values and interests emerge. You've modeled things that I value very highly, like persistence, perseverance, continuous learning, and continuous improvement. I'm very proud of you. For your future, of course I wish you health and happiness, but I also wish you challenges that will test you. If you approach them with the same mindset and determination, then you and the world will be better for it. Congratulations, and I love you.
Could we all join together in wishing the Kama family a hearty mazel tov? Mazel tov. Now, those of you who are online, you get your chance too. So in just a moment, I'm going to invite all of you. There are a lot of you online. I'm going to invite all of you to show Geffen some love. We're going to move the camera around. If we see that you're engaged, we're going to bring that camera to you so that you can do a happy dance for Geffen. We're going to move it around. We'll all get to see one another who's here online. Now, those of you who are here in the courtyard, you won't get to see them online, but you're going to provide the backdrop with me of the singing that goes along with everybody who's going to wave to Geffen and wish him well. So we won't hear you online. You got to do it physically. Here goes. Are you ready? It's coming. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yelanu. Simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yelanu. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Let's bring it up a little bit now. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yehelanu. Simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yehelanu. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Lechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. One more time, let's sing. Simen tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tov, it's simen tovu, simen tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tov, it's simen tovu, simen tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tov, it's simen tovu. Yehelanu. Simen tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tov, it's simen tovu, simen tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tov, it's simen tovu, simen tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tov, it's simen tovu. Yehelanu. Mazel tov. Never got to see a lot of it. That was wonderful. Thank you, everybody. You know, as Geffen explained to us, the priestly benediction, Birkat Kohanim, that's it. That's as ancient as we get when it comes to prayers. It's one of the very few prayers that we know was offered in the temple in Jerusalem in ancient times. When the people gathered together for the festivals, the priests would recite these words before everybody left the temple courtyard. May God bless you and protect you. May God deal kindly with you and be gracious to you. May God bestow favor upon you and grant you peace. The blessing itself is really very simple, as would be fitting for a large public gathering such as the festivals in the temple. Yet there is much more here than meets the eye. Consider the structure of the verses. There are 3 verses to the blessing, and like a haiku, they have a pattern. You can't quite pick up on it in the English, but in the Hebrew it's much more obvious. The first verse has 3 words, the second verse has 5 words, the third verse has 7 words. First verse, Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha. The second verse, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. And then the third verse has 7 words, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. In other words, the blessing builds to its culmination. Even in translation, you can see that each successive verse is longer. All 3 verses begin, this is like the haiku of it. Each verse begins with a verb followed by the subject, which is God. The first 2 verses then each conclude with a verb. Protect you. Deal graciously with you. The last verse, however, concludes with an entire independent clause, grant you peace, ending on a noun rather than a verb, as though it were ending on a flourish. Here we have the model of a king bestowing blessings upon his subjects with a dramatic finish. I'll do this for you, I'll do that for you, and I'll give you a gift, namely peace. What is it that we hope for in the priestly benediction? We have in these 3 lines a hierarchy that builds from the least to the most important. Hertz says that the phrase, may God bless you, refers to material things. A Hasidic saying asks, Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha, if God has blessed you, why do we need to ask God to protect you? Because once you have been blessed with material things, you may need to be protected from the evil results that such prosperity may bring. The second blessing is the blessing of kindness and grace. These, say Nahama Leibovich, are not material but spiritual blessings. Notice how we're ascending a hierarchy here. The verbs Ya'er Panav and Vichuneka are best translated, not literally, but idiomatically, as look kindly on you and be gracious to you. These are etymologically connected to the nouns light, or, and beauty, chen. To be blessed is not only to possess good things, that's the first blessing, but to have one's life filled with light and beauty, the immaterial things. And the final blessing is the blessing of shalom. We usually translate shalom as though it means peace, but shalom means wholeness, completion, the state in which things are united. This simple prayer, then, is the ideal blessing, not only for our festivals, but as Geffen taught us, also for parents to say over their children, and as has become customary, to be recited at sacred occasions during one's life, as I am about to do for Geffen. This ancient prayer says what we long for most in life: abundant happiness, kindness and beauty, and wholeness for ourselves, our families, and for the world. What our ancestors understood is that our prayers are ultimately very simple. There's nothing more important in life than this: happiness, kindness, and the sense that there is wholeness and unity to our lives. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May this be God's will. Geffen, you have taught us beautifully about this morning's Torah portion. In fact, both of the interesting facets of this Torah portion, including the Nazirite vow. And although I was never a Nazirite, I did once have long hair. But you really hit the nail on the head in explaining the priestly blessing to us. You understood that it connects us to God and that it links each of us and the Jewish people to our heritage. What a beautiful teaching. I hope it's just the first of many times that you will stand before our congregation and teach Torah to us. You can read Torah really well.
Thank
and
you.
So you are well prepared to lead and teach us, and I hope that you will do that throughout your life. Now, you have fellow travelers on this path of studying to become a bar mitzvah, your classmates. They are not physically here with us right now, but they are represented here. We do have part of your class here, but the class itself in total is represented by something they have made for every one of your B'nai Mitzvah, and that is a class talit. And this class talit, every year, sixth graders start on this project to create a class, sixth grade? Sixth grade. They create a class talit that they each contribute to, and then we use for the blessing of every one of those class members. So the whole class is present there in extending their good wishes to you. I'm going to ask your parents and your brother to come up and help hold up that class talit. We'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see it online, and I will ask God's blessing for you. Isn't that fabulous? I know it's sideways, but this way you can see more of the fruit. That it's really fabulous. Okay, now we can read it too. It says B'nai Mitzvah class of 57. Well, it started in 80.
Yeah.
We're in 81 now. Yeah. I think they made it when it was in 57, 80. That's it.
Yeah.
The words that Geffen read to us this morning. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's light shine upon you and be good to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's presence always be with you and grant you the gift of peace. And let us all say together, Amen. Well, Geffen, we have some things to give to you on the occasion of your bar mitzvah. Max Norman Social Action Chair of our congregation and President-elect, is going to make the presentation this morning.
Shabbat Shalom, Geffen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. As the rabbi said, I'm Max Norman, Social Action Chair here at Beth Emek. This is the part of the bar mitzvah service that's kind of like when the accountants speak at the Oscars. First, I'd like to, before I present to Geffen, I'd like to thank Sharon Cohen for serving as the Gabbai today. And Mazel Tov, Geffen. As your parents alluded to, what a strange time in which to celebrate a milestone, simcha, and achievement. But your focus and unflappable nature clearly paid off given your beautiful work today. I'm particularly privileged and thrilled to present to you, Geffen. You may not realize this, but you and your brother were the first friends that my children met in Pleasanton. The Kamaz were the first family we socialized with when we moved to Pleasanton 5.5 years ago. Shortly after arriving, Lisa learned that we, in addition to being new neighbors, were prospective congregants. And she immediately had us over for Shabbat dinner and to services, and Geffen and Matan were very welcoming to our boys, even though our presence was potentially a little bit random. And over the past 5 years, I've admired you, Geffen, from a distance, your maturity, your Renaissance man variety of interests, and your overall poise, which was on full display today. And I'm confident that not too long from now, after you've graduated from high school a year early and college 2 years early, and when you are Geffen Kama, PhD, JD, LLM, RN, DDS, whatever it is you'd like to do, I'll be able to say, I gave that guy the congregational bar mitzvah gifts. Okay, on with the show. I have a few items to present to you. I'm sure you've seen this shtick before, being the first son of the synagogue for so many years. This is your bar mitzvah certificate. We all know you put in a lot of work leading up to today's event. You did a wonderful job. This is personalized just for you. And on behalf of everyone here, I'm proud of you. Another gift also made out to you is our congregational Kiddush cup, which I will show to our friends at home and to you and to our friends here. The Kiddush cup is decorated with the 7 species, just like Beth Emek is, and will remind you of Beth Emek wherever you go. A couple more items. As you may know, CBE offers the Kesher program to continue your connection to Judaism from 8th grade through high school. Kesher means connection, and we hope you will continue your Jewish education in our Sunday night Kesher program. I will be personally tracking your attendance. Okay, 2 to go. I have a welcome letter here from Nifty, Nifty's youth group, Edgy, and our goal in Edgy is to bring teens together with monthly meetings to combine an exploration of Jewish identity with fun and engaging activities. At the very least, it will be fun or engaging. Edgy looks forward to seeing you soon, and again, I'll be watching. Finally, we hope you will make a teen trip to Israel when you are in high school, and there's a certificate from Nifty as a small contribution towards that return trip. Mazel tov again on your achievement. Have as many Shirley Temples as you want today. I will do that.
Thank you.
The stand-up routine was just a bonus for this service. You're lucky you came today. We're going to continue our service now. Geffen, I know you've got some words to offer us.
Thank you all for coming today. I would like to thank the congregation for the gifts they gave me, and I would also like to thank my parents for being very supportive while still not stressing me out for my preparation for my bar mitzvah. I would also like to thank my little brother for being a great source of positive feedback. I'd like to thank all the rest of my family for coming from around the country to be with me today. Thank you to my tutor Sharon Cohen for being my tutor and for helping me prepare my Torah and Haftarah portions. Thank you as well to Rabbi Milder for helping me revise and strengthen my Devar Torah, as well as helping me prepare for my bar mitzvah. And a very special thank you to my Bubby, who's been the person looking forward to my bar mitzvah more than anybody. Thank you all for coming to celebrate my bar mitzvah with me today.
Just got to get the right key here. Not sure that that's right. We continue with Aleinu on page 282. I invite you to please rise. עלינו לשבח לאדון
הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 285. And let's see. No, that's not going to work. I'm going to try a different key here. That's better. Okay, נקווה לך,
אוקיי נקווה לך, אוקיי נקווה לך,
אדוני אלוהינו,
אוקיי נקווה לך, אוקיי נקווה לך, אוקיי נקווה לך,
אדוני אלוהינו.
לראות מהרה בתפארת עוזך, לתקן עולם. לראות מהרה בתפארת עוזך, בחלקות שדי, שדי די די די, שדי די די די, שדי די 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 די, שדי די 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 די, שדי די 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 די, שדי די 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 די. אוקיי נקווה לך, אוקיי נקווה לך, אוקיי נקווה לך, אדוני אלוהינו, אוקיי נקווה לך, אוקיי נקווה לך, אוקיי נקווה לך, אדוני אלוהינו.
Page 295. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for blessing. Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei rabbah. Ba'alma divrach chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon
ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ברכו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה. תאמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say amen. You may be seated. We're going to conclude with a closing Adon Olam and a Kiddush and Motzi. Please turn to page 321. Here's a favorite Adon Olam melody that has been kind of updated through an Argentinian vibe.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Ein Asad B'chemso Kol Azai Malach Shemo Nivra Ve'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora V'hu Haya V'hu Hoveh V'hu Yeh B'tifara Do 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 אחד ואין שני, והמשילו להכניע השלישית בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמצווה, והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וזורחב לי בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, ונקוסי ביום אקרא. בידו הפקיד רוחי, בעת אישן והעירה, בין רוחי גבייתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא.
Page 301, and Geffen, please lead us in Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen. L'chaim. And if you'd uncover that challah, please.
Do I have to hold this all up?
Yeah. Show,
Okay.
why don't you
It's
show
heavy.
everybody? Show this gorgeous challah. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. Go ahead.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, everybody who's watching online. We're going to keep this open for just a little bit so that people can chat with one another. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I can have some? Okay, I get some. I want some challah.